Langley, the United States Navy's first aircraft carrier, commissioned in 1922. She was converted from a collier, a ship designed to carry coal. Her flight deck was a platform bolted above the original hull. She carried 34 aircraft and had a top speed of 15 knots. She was more experiment than weapon, but she proved the concept worked. Lexington. 2 ships, Lexington and Saratoga. Originally planned as battle cruisers, they were converted to carriers under the Washington Naval Treaty, which capped capital ship construction. At 36,000 tons, they were among the largest ships in the world when commissioned. They carried over 70 aircraft each. Lexington was sunk at the Battle of the Coral Sea in 1942. Saratoga survived the war. Yorktown. 3 ships, Yorktown, Enterprise, and Hornet. Commissioned between 1937 and 1941, they bore the weight of the early Pacific War. Enterprise earned 20 battle stars, the most of any American ship in World War II. Yorktown was sunk at Midway. Hornet was sunk at Santa Cruz. The class proved that carrier air power had replaced the battleship as the decisive weapon at sea. Essex, the largest class of aircraft carriers ever built by the United States. 24 ships were commissioned between 1943 and 1950. Each carried up to 100 aircraft and displaced around 27,000 tons. Essex-class carriers flew combat missions in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. Several were later converted to anti-submarine roles. One, Intrepid, is now a museum in New York City. Midway. 3 ships, Midway, Coral Sea, and Roosevelt, built larger than the Essex class to carry heavier jet aircraft. Midway displaced 45,000 tons when commissioned, and was modernized several times over her career. She flew combat missions in Desert Storm in 1991. The Midway class established the template for the large deck carrier that would define American naval power for the next half-century. Forrestal. 4 ships commissioned between 1955 and 1959. Forrestal was the first carrier designed from the keel up as a supercarrier. She introduced the angled flight deck, which allowed aircraft to land while others prepared to launch. She displaced 60,000 tons and carried up to 90 aircraft. A fire aboard Forrestal in 1967 killed 134 sailors and remains one of the worst accidents in U.S. naval history. Kitty Hawk. 4 conventionally powered supercarriers, Kitty Hawk, Constellation, America, and John F. Kennedy, larger and more capable than the Forrestal class. They served through the Cold War, Vietnam, and the Gulf War. The last ship, Kitty Hawk, was decommissioned in 2009. They were the last conventionally powered supercarriers the United States ever built. Enterprise, the world's first nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, commissioned in 1961. She carried 8 reactors and could operate for years without refueling. She was 1,123 feet long and displaced 93,000 tons. Enterprise served in the Cuban Missile Crisis, the Vietnam War, and operations across the Middle East, decommissioned in 2012 after 51 years of service. No other warship in American history operated for as long in as many conflicts. Nimitz. 10 ships commissioned between 1975 and 2009, the backbone of the American carrier fleet. Each ship displaces over 100,000 tons, carries up to 90 aircraft, and is powered by 2 nuclear reactors requiring no fuel for propulsion for over 20 years. They are the largest warships ever built. As of 2025, the Nimitz class forms the core of United States sea power. Gerald R. Ford, the newest American carrier class, designed to replace the Nimitz ships one by one. Ford herself was commissioned in 2017. The class replaces steam catapults with the electromagnetic aircraft launch system, allowing more precise launches with less mechanical stress. 2 reactors produce 25% more power than Nimitz-class plants. The crew requirement is significantly reduced. The hull is designed to operate for 50 years. Queen Elizabeth, 2 ships, Queen Elizabeth and Prince of Wales, commissioned in 2017 and 2019. the largest warships ever built in Britain, at 65,000 tons each. They use a ski jump ramp instead of catapults and operate the F-35B, a short takeoff and vertical landing fighter. They cannot launch conventional fixed-wing aircraft. The design trades flexibility for lower cost and a smaller crew. Charles de Gaulle, France's sole aircraft carrier and the only nuclear-powered carrier operated outside the United States, commissioned in 2001. She displaces 42,500 tons and carries up to 40 aircraft, including the Rafale fighter. 2 reactors originally designed for submarines power her, which limited her top speed. She is the flagship of the French Navy and has conducted combat operations over Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, and Libya. Admiral Kuznetsov, Russia's only aircraft carrier, commissioned in 1990. She displaces around 58,000 tons and uses a ski jump ramp. She has experienced chronic mechanical failures throughout her service life. During operations in Syria in 2016, she lost 2 aircraft, one to a crash, one when an arresting cable snapped. She has been in refit since 2017. The dry dock she was using sank in 2018, causing additional damage. Her return to service has been repeatedly delayed. Liaoning, China's first aircraft carrier, commissioned in 2012. Originally the unfinished Soviet carrier Varyag, she was purchased from Ukraine in 1998 and towed to Dalian for completion. She displaces around 60,000 tons and uses a ski jump ramp. China uses her primarily for training. She established the doctrine and crew experience that made the rest of the Chinese carrier program possible. Shandong, China's first domestically built carrier, commissioned in 2019, based on the Liaoning design but refined throughout, with a larger hangar and improved combat systems. She displaces approximately 70,000 tons and also uses a ski jump ramp. She is assigned to the South Sea Fleet and is considered fully operational. Fujian, China's most advanced carrier, launched in 2022 and currently completing sea trials. She is the first carrier outside the United States equipped with electromagnetic catapults, allowing the launch of heavier and more capable aircraft. She displaces around 80,000 tons. Her commissioning will mark the largest single leap in Chinese carrier capability since the program began, bringing China's technology closer to parity with American carriers than at any previous point. INS Vikrant, India's first domestically designed and built aircraft carrier, commissioned in 2022. She displaces 45,000 tons and uses a ski jump ramp. Construction took 14 years. Her completion made India one of a small number of countries with the industrial capacity to design and build a carrier from scratch. She operates the MiG-29K and is the centerpiece of India's blue water naval ambitions. Thanks for watching. Which carrier class do you think changed naval warfare the most? Drop it in the comments. Also, please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.